Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Carpe Dumbbell. Today, we're going to be talking about how to lock in. Now, locking in has a different definition for everyone. My personal definition is just being dialed in every aspect of your life, like fitness, sleep, diet, social health, mental health, and so on. I will do individual videos on those select topics later on, but today we're going to be talking about the broad subject of locking in. The first pillar we're going to go over today is basic health. Now, at the very bottom, the foundation of this pillar is sleep, because without good sleep, nothing is possible. Sleep is literally the most important thing you can do in your life. When you think of locking in, the first thing that should come to mind is locking in your sleep schedule, because a bad sleep schedule and bad sleep means nothing is possible. Nothing can get done if you are not sleeping well. And if you already have a bad sleep schedule, I encourage you to fix it and then notice the difference in how you feel when you actually sleep well. It's really no secret, guys. I mean, there have been hundreds of sleep studies that prove how important sleep is. You see articles and headlines all the time that are like, oh, new study finds that one bad night of rest fucking ruins the next 2 months of your life, and now you're going to die 7 years early. Maybe nothing like that extreme. Well, honestly, one night of bad sleep does kind of ruin your next week or two of sleep, but you know what I mean, right? Next on our list is moving daily. Move your body daily, even briefly. You don't have to weightlift 7 days a week and swim and run and rock climb and do all this like activity. You really just have to keep it simple. Now, of course, I'm going to encourage weightlifting at least twice a week, full body for like an hour at a time. But if you can't do that, if you're really so busy and you're making all these excuses, just go for a walk and hit like 50 air squats after you eat each meal. Brian Johnson, that famous longevity guy, was talking about how doing air squats after eating is just as effective as blunting insulin responses and stuff after you eat a meal. So every day, hit 50 air squats after a meal and go for a 20-minute walk if that's all you can do. I always will encourage more, but at the basic level, move your body daily. Please excuse my dog barking in the background. But next up on our list is diet. Diet is also, it's not as important as sleep because sleep is the main foundation, but diet is so crucial because you cannot outrun a bad diet unless you're running marathons and running Ironmans consistently, but that's like 0.0001% of the population. That does not include you and me. But the basics of your diet is, you probably have heard of the 80-20 rule. I follow that pretty consistently. I try to do 90-10, but 80-20, 80% whole foods, 20% kind of eat whatever you want. But at the end of the day, focus on real food, avoid processed stuff, and drink water. Drink a lot of water. Don't buy into a lot of the electrolyte stuff too. I think most of the population gets plenty of salt as it is already, unless you're sweating a lot or you're an endurance athlete or working out, unless you really need it. If you need electrolytes, you will know because you're constantly training. But if you're just doing these air squats and going for the walks and keeping it basic, you more than likely don't need electrolytes. So just focus on whole food, water, and keeping your body moving. And to wrap up this section, just cut one thing at a time. Like I've said in previous videos, I'm a big fan of keeping everything simple. Get good sleep at the very bottom, right? The foundation. Move your body daily, hit those air squats, hit those walks. Try to eat real food. And honestly, guys, processed food, most of the time I found is more expensive because you got to pay for packaging and manufacturing. But if you just go to the store and get some like fruits and vegetables, and meat's kind of expensive now. Everything's more expensive. I'm pissed, just like you guys are. But I still feel like processed, ultra processed food is more expensive than real food. Am I in the minority? Let me know in the comments. But keep it simple, guys. Sleep, move, diet, whatever is the worst one, fix that first, and then refine your other other pillars, foundations as you go. And I'll leave this section with a famous quote a wise man once told me. What does a healthy person want? Everything. And what does a sick person want? Their health. So if you can have your health, you could want and have everything. Okay, now that we have locked in our basic health, we're moving on to social health. Humans by nature are very social creatures. On Instagram, I once saw a post, it could have been fake, I don't know, that said not being social or being around people for 3 days was as bad as smoking a pack of cigarettes. I don't know how true that is, but the idea though that we need to be social is true. Humans are social creatures. Your environment shapes your standards more than your willpower does. If the people around you don't care about your growth and they don't care about you and they're mean to you and stuff, you're going to become a product of that and you're going to hate yourself. You're not going to want to succeed or grow as a person. It is so important to surround yourself with people who actually care about you. It is better to have a small circle of legit good friends than a big circle of half-ass friends who, are more acquaintances than anything else and who don't really care about you. In order to lock in, you do not need to isolate yourself from people. In fact, you probably shouldn't. If you're going to lock in, you don't need to like go around yelling to everyone like, "Oh, I'm locking in." But in order to lock in, to dial everything, you don't have to just cut your friends off. If your friends are, it's a Friday night and your friends are like, "Let's go out and let's go eat." You don't have to be like, "Sorry guys, I'm locking the fuck in and I can't fucking cheat on my diet and I'm a bad boy or whatever." Don't do that. Go out to eat with them. Be social. Enjoy your friends. Life is short. You can do both. But on the flip side of this, you also have to protect your time. You'll have famous and rich athletes and people say, "Oh, I have the same 24 hours a day that you do." This is true. Sometimes they say that and they're kind of being a dick about it. But in the case we're talking about, it's true. You do have to protect your time, but don't become unreachable. Don't, like I said, shut yourself in or anything like that. But protect your time. Use it correctly. Time is the only resource on this planet we cannot make more of. I don't know how true that is, but it sounds cool. Next pillar. So we've got our basic health, we got our social health. Now we're going to kind of backtrack to ourselves again with a little bit of financial advice. Now, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice, but finances are the leading cause of divorces. So it kind of gives an idea of how important finances are. You need to lock in your finances. You can be healthy and have lots of friends, but if you're living paycheck to paycheck, that's not quite ideal. So, the basics of finances, you need to have a good job, ideally a stable job, right? And the first thing you want to do is make an emergency fund for 3 to 6 months worth of finances. I was reading online recently that most Americans, or a good chunk, can't even cover a $500 emergency expense. Don't be like this. Save 3 to 6 months worth of your monthly expenditure in a high yield savings account, ideally, right? You'll have to pay taxes on the interest you earn in your HISA, but it's still going to beat inflation. You're still going to make more money on it. The more money you put into your HISA, the more interest you get, and the more money you get, and it's a snowball effect, right? And next up, you're going to want to, if you have a 401k, you're going to want to match the 401k percentage that your company gives you because that's literally free money you're leaving on the table if you don't. After this, you ideally want to max out your Roth IRA. I believe it's 7,500 right now, which if you start at the beginning of the year, it's $650 a month, I think. And then after you do this, look into a high HSA potentially, and then start investing in a brokerage. As for what to invest in, I'm not a financial advisor, but I would recommend you do S&P 500 ETF funds. But you did not hear this from me. Invest in the things that are boring, consistent, and will grow over the course of your entire life. There's a famous saying that goes like, or not a saying, but it's the idea that it's better to invest a little bit now than a lot later. And it's always better to have time in the market than timing the market. So dial in your finances, save up that emergency fund, start investing, get that shit locked in. Lastly, we're going to talk about mental health. Now, luckily, the stigma of mental health has kind of gone away as society has progressed forward. And the idea of locking in isn't the same as suppressing everything you feel. If you know a little bit about Stoicism and Marcus Aurelius, that Stoicism and becoming mentally healthy isn't about suppressing emotions. It isn't about suppressing anything bad. It's the opposite. It's like a river that flows through you, like that one song. And you want to feel every emotion. You just want to well, you want to feel it and you want to acknowledge it and you want to understand why it's there. And you want to be able to determine, is it a rational emotion or is it irrational? Is it sad? Is it normal to be sad that your dog died? Yes. Is it normal to be sad because a leaf fell on the ground? And most importantly, when it comes to mental health, understand that there are resources that you can use to help yourself out. You're never alone in everything. There's 8 billion humans on this planet. The problems you experience right now have 100% been experienced by probably thousands, if not millions of other humans, right? You're not alone. So make small, consistent check ins on yourself every so often to make sure you're not overwhelmed. Learn how to rest, learn how to lock in and work out and do all this stuff, and find the balance in between. It's a yin and yang, it's a constant push and pull. If it was easy, everyone would be good at it, right? But you must take care of yourself. You must make sure your own cup is not too full before you can start pouring yourself into other cups or something like that. Or maybe you want it full. I don't know. All right, guys, to wrap this up, we went over our basic health, social health, finances, and mental health, and a little bit of stoicism. Now, these aren't all the pillars that you're going to want to focus on in life. I will do more videos on these pillars in the future, more in depth. But for now, I just wanted to get a basic generalization of all of them and introduce it to the channel. So if you guys like this video, um, subscribe, maybe, I don't know. If you're locking in, tell me in the comments what you're locking in on, and keep it 100, guys, or something. I'll see you in the next video.